The Browns open up day 2 of the NFL draft with a pair of good quality selections in UCLA linebacker Carson Schwesinger and then Ohio State running back Quinshon Judkins. So let's break down both of these picks, talk about all the selections Cleveland has made so far, and then what's next for them in the remaining picks in day 2 of the draft, and whether or not the Browns get a quarterback in round 3. But first things first, let's tell you everything you need to know about the Browns' new linebacker, which, quick side note here, it's not great news for JOK's long-term health. But the Browns opened up day 2 of the NFL draft with a little bit of a surprising-esque pick. It's the linebacker out of UCLA who led the Big Ten, which is a very weird sentence to say, in tackles last year, Carson Swessinger. He was a no-star recruit coming out. He works his way up the depth chart at UCLA. Just a one-year starter for the Bruins last year. Pretty good typical size for an off-ball linebacker. 6'2", 240 pounds, 136 tackles. He had some playmaking abilities to his game. 9 tackles for loss, 4 sacks. You get a forced fumble. You get 2 interceptions. Here is the pros in a nutshell, as Dane Brugler points out. He's field fast. He always puts himself in the right place to make the right play. Very good pursuit angles. Bobcat of a tackler. So if you want someone who's not going to sell out for the big plays, but someone that's going to do their job, someone that's not going to be a liability on the field, that's what you are getting right here. Now, a couple of the weaknesses. He's not some incredible athlete. I don't think the Browns just got this incredible physical specimen. So that's a little bit unlike Andrew Berry, but clearly the Browns felt like they needed to find a new long-term piece at linebacker, which we all thought would be Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I'm not going to say that's, officially out the window now, but going pick 33 with a linebacker, it definitely dampens that potential right there. There's only one season of real tape to look at here. He played in all 13 games in 2022 and 2023. Barely played, though. He combined in those 2 seasons for 27 tackles. So really just 1 year to look at, 2024. But it was a very good season for Swessinger. And I am pronouncing that correctly, by the way, so feel free to copy that as you try to learn his last name as well, because that'd be a bad last name to mispronounce. But I want to share with you guys what Brugler, who I think does a great job, like I said, of covering the draft, had to say in a bite-sized form about the UCLA linebacker. Swessinger is an easy player to appreciate because he is a tractor beam to the ball, a consistent finisher as a tackler, and always plays at full speed to close on plays in a blink. He has the instincts, demeanor, and cover talent to be a 4-down NFL starter early in his NFL career. We're going to look at where he slots in at the depth chart in just a second, but help us reach 44,000 subscribers. We're 21 subs away. If you haven't yet, lock in for the best free Browns draft coverage out there when you subscribe. Now, where does Swessinger fit in on this depth chart and on this defense? The Browns linebacker room wasn't really jumping out as some big need, right? Jordan Hicks, I thought, played very well last year. Devin Bush was re-signed after a strong season in which he filled in for JOK in a big role. Diabate, I thought, showed plenty of flashes as a UDFA out of Utah. Winston Reed, I thought, even played well down the stretch. And you added Jerome Baker, a Cleveland native. So linebacker was never on my radar for Cleveland early in the draft. But clearly what you're seeing right here is the Browns went out and got their guy, right? They didn't really care about what the 2025 needs were. They wanted to get the best players long term. And Andrew Berry has shown in this draft, he is not trying to maximize the 2025 roster as if he's got a one-year window, as if he's on the hot seat. He wants to go out and get the best players for this team long term. So to me, I think you're seeing Andrew Berry. You may not like him as a drafter. You may not like the trade, but I'm going to respect the hell out of the fact that he's doing what's best for this team. He's not reaching on a quarterback so that way, hey, you can't fire me. We've only had 1 year with Shador. No, he's going out there and he's getting the best football players in his mind, which maybe don't have a huge impact in 2025, but he's not thinking just 1 year down the road. He's trying to build a roster for years to come, and I really appreciate that. So Carson Swessinger coming over to Cleveland, And the Browns get hopefully a linebacker for, 2 contracts worth, as they really haven't had anything consistent at that position since I want to say DeQuell Jackson. Like JOK was about to snap that, and then he got injured. So it's been a long time since the Browns have had a perennial force at inside linebacker. Next up, I want to talk about Quinshon Judkins. But first things first, I do have to give a quick shout out to our friends over at Game Time. Game Time makes getting tickets faster and easier, even for hard to get playoff seats. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch and tip-off. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying NBA playoff tickets if you want to go see the Cavs soon or any other sporting event in your area. Save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Next up, the Browns at 36 after making a trade with the Jags and acquiring this 36 overall pick. They go running back. Huge sigh of relief. I thought Caleb Johnson or Travion Henderson could be the play here. Instead, they went with the other Ohio State running back, Judkins, the transfer from Ole Miss, who is the freshman All-American, SEC Freshman of the Year back in 2023. And I think he steps right to the top of the Browns running back depth chart. I mean, I'm sure there'll be some kind of formality of we don't get to let the rookie, start immediately, but I'd say by the end of September, Quinshon is going to be this team's number 1 ball carrier. Last year, in a split backfield with Travion, he had a little under 200 carries, over 1,000 yards, and 14 touchdowns. So Judkins, I think, is someone from a character standpoint you can really appreciate. He was great at Ole Miss, but he wanted to go somewhere where you can win. So he donated his good chunk of his NIL earnings, $10,000 to his high school because he wanted to go somewhere to win a national championship, and he left Ole Miss and all their success for Ohio State, and I'd say the gamble paid off. Now, when it comes to Judkins' playing style, if you're not familiar, you're getting, I don't want to say like Nick Chubb. I can't compare everyone to Nick Chubb, but you're getting a bigger back, right? I mean, Judkins is 5'11", 221, and he ran a 4.48 40-yard dash. So you're getting a lower, compact player who still has some really good speed. Good, well-built, compact, like I said. He's got, strong legs to run people over. He's aggressive. He does not mind contact whatsoever. Now, the knock against him is, does he have the getaway top-end speed in the open field? I don't really care too much about that. Would you rather have a running back who once every 6 weeks rips off a 60-yard touchdown run, or a guy who on 3rd and 3 converts 8 out of 10 times? I'd rather have the guy that converts on 3rd and 3 8 out of 10 times than the guy every 6 weeks gives me a boatload of fantasy points. I want the player that keeps the offense on the field. And Judkins shows that he's not just a bowling ball type of back. No, he's got good burst. He's got good vision. He's got good patience and whatnot. Now, one of the other knocks against him, and then we'll talk more about it, is the tread on his tires, 739 career carries. But here's what Dane Brugler from The Athletic said. Judkins isn't as dynamic as other backs in this class, but he is an attitude runner with the quickness, vision, and violence. I love that word for running backs. To be a productive lead option in an NFL backfield. He can help secure his spot on the depth chart by taking his passing down responsibilities from serviceable to above average. Ohio State fans, help me out. Whoever the Ohio State running back coach is needs a raise because Judkins and Henderson have no business for being this good of pass protectors before they get to the NFL. If, as a running back early in your career, you want to stay on the field, you got to protect the quarterback on third down. And a lot of times, rookies and second-year backs struggle with that. So they don't get the opportunity to play on third down. Judkins, I think, can play first, second, and third down because of his incredible pass protection skills before he even steps onto an NFL field. Now, he doesn't have maybe the greatest receiving upside to his game, but it's tough to say that definitively because college football is not designed for running backs to get a bunch of receptions, especially when he works in a split backfield last year with Henderson. You know, this entire running back room has always given me vibes of when Alvin Kamara, my freshman year of college, left Tennessee, and I watched him all of 2016 in Knoxville and said, this is a really good running back. Why isn't he going earlier? Oh, because he didn't get a bunch of stats because he worked in a split backfield with a guy named Jalen Hurd. Okay, that seems silly. He goes round 3, and the Saints, well, the rest is history. I always felt like Judkins or Henderson would have that type of career, where one of them is going to have an awesome NFL career that people just didn't give enough credit to, as Henderson just got picked at 38 to the New England Patriots. So a couple of Ohio State backs going off the board within the early stages of round 3. But I think there's a very real chance here that Judkins or Henderson goes on to have an awesome career, and we look back and wonder, how did we let them fall out of round 1? Oh, that's because they didn't have a ton of stats their final year in college because they were in a committee backfield. That was a silly mistake of us to make. So I want to hear from you. Grade the picks between Mason Graham, Carson Swessinger, and Quinshon Judkins. A, B, C, D, or F. I'm going to give it a B+. Yeah. Like, Schwesinger's a little bit of a question mark. Kind of feel like a bit of a reach. But I love Graham, and I like the Judkins pick a lot. So, I'm going to give it a B+. Now, the Browns have 2 picks in round 3 coming up. So, join us for our live coverage right now if you're watching this video on demand as we await to see if Cleveland jumps back into round 2 to get a quarterback or if they stay put and take one at 67. But I like the fact that Andrew Berry is not panicking and reaching for a quarterback. He's going with the best players out there to build the best roster.